Good morning, friends and allies. Welcome to a brand new series. Let's play Pillars of Eternity. I am Sir Tristan, and man, I'm excited. I grew up in the 90s with Baldur's Gate, with Icewind Dale, with Planescape Torment, which I don't actually like. Please don't hate me. And this game, Pillars of Eternity, is a throwback to those team-based party RPGs based off of Dungeons and Dragons. This game is by Obsidian Entertainment. This was successfully kickstarted in 2012, and the game just came out yesterday, so I am super excited to get a video going. This first video is just going to be character creation. I have an idea of the kind of character that I want to create, but I want to walk through some of the nuances with you guys and kind of make some decisions as I go. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to click New Game. Probably just do normal. Normal difficulty requires strategy and efficiency, but forgives a few mistakes in combat. It is not recommended for newcomers to real-time party-based RPGs. Expert mode disables a number of helper features. No thanks. In Trial of Iron, only one save is kept for the entire playthrough. If the player is killed, the file is deleted, and you must start again. Okay, I'm definitely not doing that. I'm just going to stick with normal, and let's get going. Accept. Obsidian Entertainment presents Pillars of Eternity. By the way, there's a lot of text in this game, and I'm going to read it, so I hope you don't mind. Even the loading screens look just like they did in Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale. It's very cool. I'm very excited.
Five wagons grope blindly for the path on a starless night, their master glancing ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course. A dim lantern his only protection against the encroaching darkness. But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no hint of what they know. The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf. He pulls up just in time to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight.
Oh man. Alright, so my character's ill. We've got a tree that's fallen in the road. Nothing sounds right about this. Let's get going. Let's get going. Okay, there we go. Okay, alright, so here's character creation. Definitely going to be playing a male. And I'm probably going to go ahead and play human. I know there's a few different races. Let's look at them real fast. This is the race from Avatar, apparently. Largest of the Kith races, and commonly found in or near oceans. Well, that's actually kind of cool. Not actually aquatic. They have an affinity for water. +2, okay. Dwarf. Obviously, common fantasy trope. Elf, also fantasy trope. Orlan, I don't know what this is. Orlan are the smallest of the Kith. Many cultures don't consider them to be civilized at all. So they seem to be kind of hobbit or halfling or gnome-like. Minus might plus perception. Ooh, there's a lot of text, wow. And then godlike, which just sounds cheaty to me. Ooh, what's up with this face? That's a little terrifying. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go human. 1 resolve. Resolve reflects a character's internal drive. Useful for mental intimidation, leadership, and convincing performances. In combat, it helps characters maintain concentration. And might, which makes sense, characters' physical and spiritual strength, brute force, magical. Interesting. So might actually affects magic a little bit as well. Anyway, let's just jump in as a human. Subhumans. Okay. The most common humans in the dire wood. The meadowfolk have lived in that area for almost 2,000 years. Meadowfolk traditionally live at the edge of the elven forests, working in the open plains, hence their name. Fighting spirit. Once per encounter, 5 seconds after being reduced below 50% endurance. Folk temporarily gain bonuses to accuracy and damage. Okay, what about ocean folk? Ocean folk. Calbandra originated near the equator on the other side of the globe and are currently the most widespread human group in the region, but they have also migrated to the far reaches of the world. Ocean folk are the dominant culture in Valian republics and are also common in the Direwood. Once per encounter, 5 seconds after being reduced below 50% endurance. Oh, okay, so this is the same for each. Yeah, fighting spirit. I think I like the idea of ocean folk. So let's do that. And here's your class. There's a lot of them. Wow. I kind of have an idea of what I want to do, but I'll just go over the list real fast. Barbarian, brutes, madmen, berserkers. I'm not sure what else you need to say about that. Chanter. Chanter's kind of like a bard in other games. This is the class that I'll be playing, is a chanter. And I'll talk more about that in a little while. Cipher. If you know anything about D&D, ciphers, I believe, are kind of like psionists. Psionists? They basically have mental powers that they use to attack and debilitate the enemy. Druid, common fantasy trope, nature, shapeshifting, summons, pets, I think. Fighter, just your standard dual-wielding sword and shield two-handed fighter. Monk, no weapons, fists only. Paladin, kind of like a holy fighter. Priest, this will probably be your healer. Maybe some offensive spells, I'm not sure. Ranger, actually the ranger probably gets the pets, now that I think about it. Good with a bow. Rogue, sneaky, backstabbing, disarming traps, laying traps. And wizard, your spellcaster. I believe this game is a little unique in that any class can use any weapon combination. I'll probably be doing like a sword and shield if I'm going to be up in melee combat at all, because my character is not going to be built for melee. So maybe I'll try to give him a bow. I'm not sure. I think that any race or any class can use any weapon. So we'll see. So I'm going to go with the chanter. They're kind of like bards. All chanters can continuously speak chants made up of magical phrases. Phrases produce passive effects and help build a chanter's power until they can use an invocation. Invocations are powerful magical effects that chanters can create after they have spoken a required number of phrases through their chants. They get plus to lore, plus to mechanics, endurance, health, accuracy, deflection. Alright, I'm going to go. Okay, next up is your phrases, and this is unique to the chanter class here. As you speak these phrases, you will do specific things, either buffing your allies or harming your enemies, like debilitations. And I think I'm going to focus my chanter on debilitating the enemy. So, thick grew their tongues, stumbling over their words. Reduce concentration to foes in an area. Concentration is like your ability to not be interrupted, basically. For your attacks and your spells not to be interrupted. And alongside that, I think this is a buff. Yeah, this is the only other debuff. Come, soft winds of death. Drains a portion of endurance from all enemies in the area of effect. Endurance is basically like your hit points for that round of combat. So when enemies lose all their endurance, they basically die. As the player character, you don't die immediately when you lose all your endurance. But I'm going to focus on debilitating the enemy. And for my invocation, let's see, damage reduction, summon phantoms, summon skeletons. Summon 3 skeletons. might pick that one. That one's kind of cool. Friendly AoE damage reduction. Um, AoE damage and stun. Actually, a 5-second stun. That seems really good. 4-meter push, 5-second stun. You know, I think I might go with this one. The thunder rolled like waves on black seas. Creates a thunderous explosion that stuns and shoves enemies in an area of effect. This requires 3 phrases, and I only have 2. I don't even know if I'll be able to cast this right away. We'll see. We'll see. And that's it here. And now my points, I actually already put these in a bit earlier, and it looks like it saved it. Intellect is really important. Constitution is really important. Resolve is also recommended. And I'll explain what these stats do in more detail later on as we get into the game. But let's go next. Your culture. This is basically like where you grew up. It kind of determines your starting equipment, as well as gives you a small buff. I'm going to go with Old Valia. Once the crown jewel of the southern seas, Old Valia is now the crumbled remnants of an empire of warring merchant nations. Counting many humans and dwarves among their ranks, the old Valian countries are still forces to be reckoned with, and are proud of their rich cultural heritage. +1 intellect, which is good. I need that sword and shield, which I'd kind of planned on doing earlier, so that'll work out really well. Let's go next. My background. Background is going to determine some bonus abilities or stats, as well as, I think, some dialogue choices in the game. I actually don't know a lot about these things like lore, and I'm not going to dive too deeply into them right now. If it's based on anything like old Dungeons & Dragons lore, like identifying magical items, survival, things like camping or maybe making food, stealth is obvious. A drifter. Athletics. Adventuring is tiring work. Go farther, fight longer before they suffer penalties. Interesting. Athletics is used for physical feats like climbing, swimming, jumping, etc. Mechanics. Traps, locks, problems, even for the toughest adventurer. Okay, so I'm not sure which one I want to go with. Mercenary, athletics, and lore. I kind of like that. Athletics and lore. Blade and battle are your way of life. You solve your problems by pulling out your weapon and applying force. That's probably not true for a chanter as much, but I like the idea of like a wandering minstrel, or a wandering chanter, I guess, in this case. Just kind of doing anything, doing whatever, basically, to make some money. So that sounds pretty good. Let me go next. Alright, sorry about that. Had a small baby interruption here, so let's keep going. Just going to modify my appearance here. Go with something like this. I think my hair needs to be a little tamer than it is now. Let's see what we got. Just kind of go through until I find something that I like. I like that. That's fine. My head. Sure, that looks good. Facial hair. Nothing so big as that. Let's keep going. Well, I started back over again. Okay, well, let's go with... Maybe just gotta go with that. Is there a hair option that kind of stands out a bit more? Ooh, wow, that's I don't think I like that for this character. I guess that's fine. Primary and secondary colors for his clothes. Let's go with like a blue, and then a maybe blue and white. I think it looks pretty good. Next, portrait. Wow, that actually got that pretty close, didn't they? I don't think I need to look much further beyond that. That's really cool. Let's just do that one then. And then his voice.
What is it?
Follow me.
Keeping an eye out. Now I am the leader of the group. Charge!
My eyes are peeled.
What is it?
I think I like Sinister. That sounds pretty cool. Name, Sir Tristan. Accept. And we're done. Alright guys, thanks so much for joining me. When I come back, I'm going to hit that next button, and we're going to get started with Pillars of Eternity. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.